and the Moon is a podcast that covers a wide range of topics related to self publishing in the horror genre. Today we discuss social media. I am Sako and I wear all the hats. And I'll use those hats to talk about all the horror and the craft stuff to give back to the community that I learned so much from. I'm 3 times published, and hopefully the link to all 3 of them will be in the description when I'm done with this stream, because I didn't do that preparation.
If it makes you feel any better, I am always forgetting to put appropriate links to anything. And I did a stream earlier today. No links. No.
I linked for you.
I'll have you know.
I'll have you know. Yeah.
I wear a lot of hats too, mostly just this one, but nothing in here reminds me to do anything. There's no memory cap.
Yeah.
But to introduce myself, because it's my turn, I always forget to do that part too. I'm the one L. Heard, more affectionately known as the Moon, and as the thing says on the bottom, I'm the finisher of stories, which is that is a wrestling reference because this is WrestleMania weekend, and Cody Rhodes this weekend in the main event on Sunday will finish the story. He will beat Roman Reigns in the main event because everything comes back to wrestling. So I had to say something.
You had to say something. Absolutely.
It's on the shirt. It's right there. Yeah. Oh, one second. There. Oh, sure.
Yeah. All the things. Let's see. Welcome back, horror enthusiasts. If you wanted to do an actual introduction, now would be awesome.
I mean, this is where we are, guys. Like,
we're 6 episodes in. Like,
and we're live, and we're slightly behind. I'm gonna take the blame for it.
No, it's all mine.
Wasn't my fault at all.
No, it was totally mine.
But in the end, that's the beauty of live, and we're here on YouTube and wherever else the stream ends up, and that's the beauty of social media. There's no network that's telling us that we have to be right there at the 2:00 time slot. We're on TV. That's exactly what would happen. We're not ready at 2:00. The show's just dead on air. But it's not. It's social media. The beautiful part about social media is that it gives us that freedom to do anything we want, pretty much, however we want. We want to start a show at 2:00. We can. You want to start a show at 2:17? Sure, we can do that. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's perfectly fine. Everything is fine.
Okay.
Not sponsored.
Well, welcome back, horror enthusiasts, to our special episode on social media practices for horror authors. In this episode, we will dive into effective strategies for navigating the murky waters of social media to engage with fans and readers of the macabre.
That's right.
Platforms that are most effective for our spooky storytellers. I'm gonna go with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I always call it Insta. Excuse my tripping over the word. TikTok and Discord. Those are the 5 that I have the most experience in. There are a whole bunch new stuff coming on the market now that X is burning, and Blue Sky is rising. I guess it's like a reincarnation of X.
Sort of. It's imagine that X is burning to the ground. Mm-hmm. And everyone sees the writing on the wall. They're like, okay, remember what X used to be? Let's just build that and kind of start over. That's what Sky Blue, I think, is closer to. And don't forget we have Threads, which I completely forget exists.
I don't do Threads.
And that's the thing. Threads works just like Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
except for it's powered by Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram,
Facebook
isn't it?
and Instagram, yeah.
So it's connected to your Instagram more specifically, and it works just like Twitter, which is kind of what I'm sure we'll get into at some point.
We
Like
will.
each one of those different platforms offers something different, so you really need to gauge how you like to engage,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to really dictate which one you're going to succeed best on.
Well put. Da-da-da. Social media platforms have become indispensable tools for authors to connect with their audience, and horror authors are no exception.
That's all.
But which platforms are effective? So these five that I've selected, each platform offers unique opportunities for horror authors to showcase their work and connect with their audience. Sometimes you can actually network with other writers, other publishing companies, other media, but that's a different episode. I'll get into networking like next week.
Yeah, but it does lend to connectability,
Mm-hmm.
which is the entire point of social media. Realistically, for reasons we're not getting into on this show, social media's got like a really, really bad rap for all the other stuff that kind of happens around social media. But in all, the beauty of social media is that you can connect with another person wherever they are within the scope of whatever it is you guys are interested in. Since everything comes back to wrestling, right now it's WrestleMania weekend, and there are a whole lot of wrestling podcasters and wrestling fans and wrestling groups and wrestlers who are all connecting with each other and the fan bases and companies all through the use of social medias. Different social medias allow you to connect in different ways. Instagram's very visual, so you'll have like the photos that are shared or small little clips and reels, and you got like TikTok and where you have little small videos. But on Twitter, it could be something as simple as a comment or a statement or link to a post or something of that nature. You can tag someone you're connected to, and that's the whole point here is to connect with those who have that common thread with you. So if you got a
Absolutely.
podcast like we do, you know, have a social media page specifically for your show, which I'm sure I need to do because I do.
I started making a website and that we'll host this stuff on, and besides YouTube, like a platform with just our stuff on it.
Hmm.
Especially now that we have a little bit under our belt, like
That's right. That's right.
I feel like
We're knocking this out.
we're about due for a bunch of stuff.
Oh,
Um,
I was talking about it earlier on my I was bored stream, and we're gonna see each other in July.
yeah.
So there can be all kinds of stuff. Who knows what we'll have by July?
Oh
But
my god.
there should at least be a special Sako on the Moon live from Imaginarium.
Oh yeah. You bet.
It'll be pretty dope. And
Oh my
depending on how
gosh.
we promote this, we may be able to have a whole bunch of guests with us in person. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself.
And maybe we can network with back of the cereal box and
Boy.
Helen or excuse me, Holly and Steven.
Oh, well, there's a lot of people who are doing a lot of things. Hopefully, if Blog Talk Radio can get their stuff together, we'll have an opportunity to have this lady on the Star Chamber show to talk about Sako and the Moon and all of her other stuff. Her other stuff is cool too, but of course, Sako and the Moon.
Sako and the Moon.
And then who knows? Maybe I'll have something to do, and I'll interview Sako. And
Hey, that'd be cool.
that I can do that. I have another show besides just the wrestling cast. But that's the thing, and that's one of the things I'm talking about. Like with that, the different shows that we just talked about, the different people who have these different shows. How do we hear about them? Through social media. It's a really easy way to connect with someone, lightning fast. You don't have to worry about a newsletter or a flyer or a text message. It's a
Oh,
platform.
I should talk about Substack at some point today.
Probably should. It's a platform. It's there. You know how to connect to them. You know how we always end the stream with clicking the little bell at the end so you get notified for when the stream goes live. That's instant. It shows up right there on the phone, like that.
Like that.
And that's the beauty of social media. We get to put something out and it goes straight to you. And you get to filter through what it is you actually are interested in, whether it's
Well,
horror or sports or writing, whatever it is that you do.
and I have to warn you, as of 9/11, doom scrolling has become part of the vernacular, right? So beware of the slippery slope that is social media.
Listen,
It, it is a slippery, slippery slope.
it is. And this is no joke. This is not even hyperbole. In 2020, when TikTok became a really big thing, I joined for reasons I'll keep to myself because they're hilarious. But I joined TikTok, and I don't know how I lost 4 hours of my life, but I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, and this is kind of cool. 4 hours later, I realized the sun was coming back up, and I had just been sitting there doom scrolling. It's ridiculous.
So the definition of doom scrolling has shifted over the last 20 years, I'll note. So my definition of doom scrolling is seeing nothing but bad news, but you're addicted to the bad news over and over and over and over again for days at a time. And it has
Losing 4 hours of your life
evolved.
is pretty bad news.
It has evolved to just mean getting swallowed by media in some capacity.
The rabbit hole, the infamous rabbit hole of social media.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it comes to TikTok, but we'll get into that here in a minute. Let's start with Facebook.
Okay.
It provides a platform for longer form content, allowing authors to engage with readers and other writers through posts, events, and groups dedicated to horror fiction. Pages are hidden behind a paywall, so go the group route instead of hosting a community. As far as hosting a community on your page.
Yeah. There's a lot of options with Facebook. Um, I feel like if you're an indie author, Facebook is a yay or nay kind of thing. The good part of that is that that's where the people are. For whatever reason, say what you want to, most everyone who's going to be social media savvy will have at the least a Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
They can like your page, and then they can get notifications from your page. You'll end up on their stream or on their wall somewhere at some point. The downside is that there is so much to it that if all you have is just a book or just a blog, there are probably more direct ways to get to your fan base than Facebook because everyone is there. So if you want the crowd, that's great. But it's like being in a big crowded room. Everyone's there, but everyone's there doing something. So you don't stand out very well.
I have to second that for sure. You can pay for a sponsored post on Facebook, which is how I went about it. Do not spend more than $20 when doing Facebook ads.
I would
Don't.
know.
No way.
My
No way.
if we have to get okay, so the thing about sponsored posts, I would if you're just starting off, because we're talking about indies here. If you have a blog, right, or maybe you've put out a podcast or whatever, and you just want that number, that subscriber count to go up, I say just grassroot it for a little while. Honestly, um, There is a time and place for sponsored posts. I think when you have a product to sell,
Or an
that would be,
event.
or an event to have, you need attendance. Something that's going to, you need to make your money, make money. Because when we're independent, we don't have a machine behind us. We talk about it all the time. We wear all the hats. So every dime we spend truly needs to have money. For every dime we spend, we need a quarterback. All right, just think of it like that. You need to be able to get your money back and more for the money you spend on whatever it is that you do. So before I put out an actual book, there's nothing I was doing that was worth a sponsored ad.
Right.
But once I have a book, the idea of putting a sponsored ad is great, but do it once, and you really need to watch your analytics. I mean, we don't really talk about that kind of thing. Maybe we should talk about like the return on investment, the money side of things.
We'll get there.
Right. But just to hit it real quick, the return on investment means that the money you spent has made money back. So if you spend $20 on an ad, then make sure you have earned more than $20 back. Otherwise, you're just losing money. And again, we don't have a machine behind us as independents. So we really need to watch how that money gets spent.
Yes.
So if you're going to put your ad out, make sure you have something that's going to make you money back. If it's a t-shirt you're putting out, or if it's merch, or if it's a show and you're selling tickets, or it's a product like a book, that might be the time to do it. But be very, very cautious and don't put a lot of money into it. It's not an instant make.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why you don't spend $20 or more on Facebook ads specifically. It spams your audience, especially if you have a niche. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
It's
That is so.
It'll find like 15 people that are your star market, and then it will spam them to death. So
And that
I
is
had
the
a lot of
question.
angry people not willing to come to my book launch because I spent more than $20 on Facebook.
It's one of those things where, okay, so if you're
Don't
on
do what I
Facebook
did.
already, if you're on Facebook already, you know about the at everyone and at followers and at highlight. Don't do it. Just
Don't do
trust me on that.
those.
I have ignored more posts that have done that than I've actually cared for.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the common consensus. The thing about social media is you really have to listen to how you're feeling, how your friends are feeling about a thing. Because that's going to really give you a temperature on the state of social media. Because realistically, you're not looking to reach your buddies. You're not, generally speaking, you're not trying to reach your buddies. My friends know I put out a book. My friends know I have a podcast out. I talk about it all the time. I wear this shirt at least once, twice a week. Yes, I wash it. But you want to reach other people, right? You want to reach other people who you don't know who can get to know you. You want to connect and network with essentially strangers who have a common interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so to do something so your friends see it, just talk to your friends. They should know what you're up to, what you're into. It's everybody else. And when you get that temperature of Facebook and everyone getting annoyed by the at everyone and the at followers and all that stuff, learn from that. Listen, don't do it, because they will see, oh, person I don't know, ignore or block or mute or whatever it is. They're going to not see your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't know who you are, they're not coming back to check you out later.
No.
It's just not happening. So if you've lost someone who may be really, really invested in some of your work.
Absolutely. Let's see, Twitter. So Facebook offers the long form, right?
Right.
There is a picture tax now, like as of April 5th, 2024. There are Excuse me. There are cricket
Picture tags.
picture tags.
What
The
is a picture tags?
No matter what the subject of your post is, have a picture to either illustrate what it is that you are doing. God bless Canva. Well,
God bless Canva.
I'll just say. And two, the you can add a picture of your cat or a picture of your animals or a selfie or a picture off of a stock site or whatever.
Make sure you have rights to it.
Make sure you have rights.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Watch it. Watch it. Watch your sites that you pull off of. Make sure you
Do
have
not
rights.
Google. As a
No.
designer, I have to warn you, please do not pull pictures off of Google for your print files.
No. No. Like we're going to like. I mean, look, she said it, and I can't echo her sentiment anymore. But please get yourself a free Canva account. It's something just as so. Listen, either get a Canva account, not sponsored, but should be. Get yourself a Canva account, and you can design, even with just your free options, something. A colorful background, put a selfie on it, and clear the background off. It's the old school Photoshop in a new light. Just do it, and it's something dynamic that'll draw attention. If you don't want to deal with all that extra, then learn to love your face and take a lot of selfies.
Okay, so the reason why the picture draws attention is because it appeases the algorithm. So the algorithm will seek
Almighty
out
algorithm overlords.
they exactly. The algorithm itself will hunt down posts and reveal the pictures to your audience. So I can get out of 1,500 people. I'll note that I have 1,500 Facebook friends, and they are all people that I have had more than a 10-minute conversation with.
That's important. That's so
So
important.
I have put this list of people together like over the past 15 years. So perhaps I'm not the person to talk to when it comes to acquiring customers or anything like that. But my Facebook is full of potential customers. And as a designer, that is how I get my work. Is someone that I have discussed with basically, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You're on Facebook. Like I said, simplest put, take a picture of your face, smile or be mad or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Whatever your face looks like, and just go with it, and just have a picture. Go with it. A lot of times the picture doesn't have anything to do with the post. A lot of people are just like pictures for attention or to appease the algorithm. But I will suggest, because people are scrolling a lot, I would, if I were you, make it dynamic, so use a lot of colors, um, and have the picture associated with whatever your post is.
Also, as a photographer and content maker as a whole, um, the there is a filter sort of situation with Facebook where it'll say make a 3D image.
I've seen that. Yeah.
That has that super adds gasoline to the algorithm fire. So if you have like different distances, different layers of things like a person, and then like I got this thing, and then you know, like the background and stuff like that. It can use AI to kind of like add content where there is none, so it looks 3D.
Yeah.
That
That use of AI is good. We can go with that.
And if it doesn't work, there you can turn it off, which is super nice. That wasn't always a thing. um,
Yeah, that pretty much covers Facebook. Facebook is kind of like that big one. And if I were you, I would just make like a separate little page for your
a group.
or group for your things, whatever the thing is that you're doing,
Hmm.
and then so people can join it, and then they can all be involved, and you can isolate what you're doing to the people who want to see it, and allow them to be able to share with their friends and do the things.
The the groups specifically are the ones that it is eager to show you what your groups are doing, and any activity that is happening on your groups. With your pages, like I said, everything is behind a paywall. So if you want to show your product to the people who signed up for your page, you have to pay like $60. And no,
Zuck's got enough money. He's good.
no, I'm not doing it. Okay, so we talked about the long form. Twitter, or X as it is in its
It's still Twitter. Type in twitter.com and you're still going to get to the same thing.
yes, it's Twitter. It thrives on brevity, making it ideal for sharing bite-sized snippets of horror tales, engaging in conversations with fellow horror aficionados, and participating in writing challenges like hashtag horror prompt. There used to be an event for traditional writers. If you are unfamiliar with traditional writers, like basically you went through a publishing company or have an agent or something like that, and there is a team that puts together your book for you, and you're more likely to be distributed in places like Barnes and Noble and Books a Million and stuff like that.
Walmart, Target, places like that.
Mm-hmm. Um, it used to be called PitMad, I think it was called. So, agents and publishing companies were going on Twitter and basically saying, "Hey, we're open for
Oh, yeah, this.
PitMad." And what this basically meant was that people would put their elevator pitch on Twitter for their book, and the agents and publishing companies and various people in your industry would basically either request pages or give you critique on your pitch. Or Pitch Wars was like, which is PitMad, Pitch Wars. It has since fallen apart. I think two
I remember
years
seeing,
ago
yeah, I
was
remember
the
seeing it,
last
but I don't see it
year.
anymore.
Yeah. Maybe we should host something. I don't know.
I'm down. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out.
Anyway,
Anyway,
X. So I think that um, the cap, that 150 character cap, forces you to basically whack down your story to 180 characters. And that, even if you never get on X, like, that is not a bad practice.
It's not. We were just talking about this in the previous episode about how you have the, like, the back of your book and your elevator pitch. So check the other episodes out for the elevator pitch talk. But TikTok is not TikTok, but Twitter is good for getting to the point. What do you need? Think about talking to your kids or talking to that friend that drones on a lot. That's me. As if you haven't watched the show and figure that out. It's a way of saying, okay, stop. What do you want to say to me? What do you need to say to me? What are you trying to get me to know? Mm-hmm. It's like, I have a book out. It's called this. You can find it here. Boom. Add a link, a picture of the cover. It's out. That's information. Pinned messages on your profile or on such is good. Excuse me. Links in your bio are good. It gives you a place to refer to. Mm-hmm. But the gig on things like Sky Blue, Threads, and Twitter, because they all essentially function the exact same way, and they all look alike, and they all have the same mechanics essentially. Mm-hmm. So this covers Twitter, X, Threads, and Sky Blue.
Or Blue Sky?
Blue Sky, Sky Blue. Sky Blue's a wrestler, and I got wrestling on the brain. Blue Sky. It is Blue Sky.
Okay.
It's Blue Sky. Covers all of them because they all have the same mechanics. Keep it short because they're not going to let you babble on like I do.
Unless you're Donald J. Trump, in which case you just keep making threads.
We don't talk about that. Anyway, like I said, Tony's to throw an X on that guy. Do y'all track with that one?
X is a burning fire.
It is.
It's a dumpster fire at this.
It is a dumpster fire. It could be saved. It won't be, but it
won't
could be.
be.
But until it's actually dead, the life support system is still pretty good. So until it dies, you can still utilize X for its base function. Like right now, there's a lot of writers who are sharing their writing experiences and just engaging with other people to stay on the thing. And that's the best part of a platform like Blue Sky or like Threads or like X, is because the point is to engage. There's an author, Dot Hutchinson, and she writes some of my favorite books. She wrote the Butterfly Garden. Love that book. The Butterfly Garden is amazing. Trigger warnings, but great book. And periodically, if I don't see her posting anything, I'll just tag her in something, and I'll just like, hey, how are you? Like, we're not friends by any definition of the word. We're not even really I wouldn't even consider us associates of any sort. But I can reach out to an author and be like, hey, how are you? What's the story on this book? I did reach out to her once and I asked, hey, has there ever been any movie rights sold for this book? I would love to see it on screen. Side note, there have been, but whoever bought it is sitting on it. While Hollywood's over here making 1 billion remakes a year, they're sitting on brand new stuff. Don't get me started. But that's the whole point. I love her work. I physically own almost every book she's written, and I can engage with her directly. And I can, our friends James Sabata and Don Guillory and Laurel Hightower, all of them great horror authors. You can engage with them directly and one-on-one in a course and have a whole conversation. And you can't really do that on a lot of other platforms, and you surely can't do that outside of social media.
Right.
Not legally. So it's really important to remember that platforms like Blue Sky, Threads, and X are really good for engaging with your fan base. So once you have a fan base, that's where you want to be to engage with them. Because I'll tell you, if they know you and like you, you're going to automatically buy, they're going to buy that next book, listen to that next episode of your podcast. They're going to buy your next shirt. It's automatic.
Uh, it, I'll go more into that here in a bit, but like, um, so that I think we have exhausted the Twitter topic.
Because I'm the friend that talks too much.
I'm getting a little bit of echo through you.
How about that?
Yum yum. I still hear me.
I have a really good microphone on this camera, so let's see how this plays out. Try that, see how that plays out. We'll work around it.
Meow meow. Yeah, I can still hear myself.
Because we're live.
Because we're live.
Like I said, I have a really dope camera. Or yeah, the really dope camera has an even more dope microphone to it. I don't have any headphones that work on this computer.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, dude. I'm right. Go ahead. Just keep talking. You keep talking.
Okay. Let's talk about Instagram a little bit. Instagram is a visual medium, perfect for sharing spine-chilling artwork, behind-the-scenes glimpses into the author's writing process, and aesthetically pleasing bookstagram photos that showcase your latest horror releases. Don't forget to promote your peers. If you are spending 100% of your posts hawking your wares, then it will turn people off and they will basically run screaming. I have an art Instagram, which is funny because people looking for my books will often, add me on Instagram, but it's just my art. It's none of my author stuff. I compartmentalize, I do. I haven't updated to my Instagram in quite some time. I should.
I haven't added anything new to my Instagram. Can you hear me still? Can you still hear me?
Yeah. I don't know.
No, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great. No, I think the hard part about Instagram is that it's so visual that if you have something like a book that's static for essentially there's nothing dynamic about having the book here. Ta-da. It's just this. So unless it's you having your book doing things like here I am at this book signing, or here I am traveling,
the GPS, yeah,
or just like having something to do with the book. Like for me with the podcast, I can put whatever my graphic is on Instagram to promote the new episode. But with the book, it's like, unless I'm posting the cover, I don't know what to do with it. Like, because I'm not one to.
We'll talk about that. Off the air, I think.
Well, I'm just talking about like the utilization of Instagram. That's what I'm basically talking about. The utilization of Instagram for an author.
I'm seeing a lot of authors taking snippets and quotes and stuff from their books and putting it in, throwing it into Canva and making a graphic and then putting it up on Insta.
See, I could do that. I should do that. I don't do that, but I might do it now because Sako said so. There's a line. We're gonna use that one.
There's the then there's TikTok, a rising star in the social media landscape where horror authors can captivate audiences with short, attention-grabbing videos that tease their terrifying tales and review other media. Don't forget that fun trends are fun to draw people in, right? But have something that will keep them there.
Yeah. I am so much fun at parties that I have a hard time making TikToks. And that's
Oh,
just, it's for me, it's a personality thing. I'm boring to me. And I emphasize that because no matter how other people might like view you, when you're creating this content, you have to be engaged with it. So when I say that I'm boring to me, that's just more of a reflection of not my genuine personality per se, but more of the energy that I'm likely to put into whatever it is I'm creating, which is why I don't make a lot of TikToks. If I do, they're very static, and I'm sitting in my car, and I'm talking way too long about whatever topic I'm discussing, and I'm not doing anything. That's why, those kind of things don't really draw, but it's those, but a dance video will. So if I see James Sabata and Laurel Hightower doing a TikTok dance, I'm going to follow that channel because that's going to be hilarious.
hilarious.
And people will see, like, hey, did you see that picture of those two people, those authors doing that dance? Yeah, yeah. What was their names again? It was like James something, Laurel something. They'll look it up. Oh, look, this is their cover of their book. They write horror. I like horror. Let's write. Now, because of a dance video, they've engaged you personally. They've gotten interested in you personally. Now they're caring about your book.
That is essentially the point that I was getting at. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I am a big fan. I don't advertise anything but my Kickstarter on TikTok. Um, so I will usually play into trends and various filters and various video topics that I feel like I have something to weigh in. Um, this podcast, for for that matter. We are currently recording on YouTube and
Mm.
StreamYard currently, and yeah. Let's talk about YouTube. So, AuthorTube is an option for networking with other authors, but not so much for the layman. It is worth noting that a lot of AuthorTubers give advice and progress reports on their channels, where laymen can learn about their craft. Uh, Writing streams are a focus for many AuthorTubers, which allow chat with other writers while they are working on their own stories. Vocal chat is sprinkled in during the stream, so it's not 2 hours in utter silence. Interaction with the video or the stream is essential for telling the algorithm that this is the kind of content you want to see. I'll also mention that if you thumbs down a video, that is still appeasing the internet gods, the algorithm gods. Um,
There's a wrestling reference because, of course, um, they don't care if the crowd is cheering or the crowd is booing. The crowd's reacting.
Ding.
And the goal is to get the crowd to react. Now, when you're creating a character to be like the good guy or the bad guy, you want them to react a certain way. Recently, a tag team called the Street Profits they were trying to do a heel turn, which is like they were good guys becoming bad guys. So they were trying to do the dastardly things and cheat and be mean or whatever. But the crowd loves the tag team because they are a great tag team. They're just dynamic characters. So did the heel turn work? No. So they just turned them babyface again. But none of that is bad. Like there's no negative repercussion on the Street Profits because people still like them. They'll
Mm-hmm.
still buy the t-shirts, they'll still come to the shows that they're on. So the only time there's a really bad reaction is when there's no reaction.
Yes. That
So
goes for horror at all, period.
that goes for like entertainment, period. When people are talking about there's an author that I don't know her personally, but she does like romantic vampire stuff. Her name is Ginger Lee, and someone on TikTok was just dogging her by her author bio, dogging out her one of her books, and a lot of people were talking about Ginger Lee because someone was dogging her out. Now, Ginger Lee obviously didn't appreciate the way the world was talking about her, so that's really where the angle, where the energy was going. But people were still talking about her, and she got to respond, and people are still engaging in her responses. And I'm talking about her now because of that interaction.
Right.
And like I said, so when no one's talking about you at all, that's where the problems come.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if people are saying they love you, great. If people are being mean, that's still mean. Don't be that way. But it's still engagement. If there's a thumbs up, thumbs down, cool. Good comment, bad comment, still a comment. But be nice. Don't be an ass.
If you are to host something on YouTube, a video or a trailer or whatever on YouTube, don't. What did I just say?
If you put a trailer or premiere something,
Oh, don't read the comments.
be
Don't
very
read the
cautious when
comments.
reading your own comment section. That's true. Um, when we put out screenshots, our short film, I did read the comments. Most
Oh
of them were
no.
good. Most of them were good. Most of them were positive and or constructive. I'll say that they were
Okay.
positive and or constructive. Um, there are some people who just didn't get it. Okay, and then there were some people who thought that the antagonist was. They're like, I'm only 4 minutes in, and I already want the antagonist to die, which was good because you
Isn't
know
that the reaction that you want?
it was, and there are still people who watch it. I shared that movie with a friend of mine yesterday,
Yeah.
and as she was watching it, she's like, "Do you know these people?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, of course, they're my friends. We all put this movie together." And she's like, "Is he like that in real life?" I'm like, "Well, no, of course not. He's acting. He's acting in the role. But that's the kind of engagement you want."
Yeah.
Before we watched that, we watched Lamageddon. Have you ever watched Lamageddon?
I have not.
Please do. It is
Okay.
one of those movies that is so so bad. It's so bad. It's the kind of bad that was bad, clearly bad on purpose. And I'm bringing all this up for the very specific reason that as bad as that movie is, as bad as Lamageddon is, I'm still telling people, "Hey, go watch this movie." We
Yeah.
were inspired by a really bad movie called The Farm, and we're still telling people to go watch it. We are still engaging. We are still sharing. So no matter what your project is, no matter what it is that you do, just do it. Do
Just
it, put it out there. And yes, people are going to love it. People are going to hate it. People are going to say mean things. But they're watching it and they're engaging in it. And they're still going to be a part of the process. It's all part of the process. We can't appease everybody. So don't try.
it's yeah, it's pretty good advice.
I live by that one. I was like, since I can't please everybody, I don't try to please everybody.
I
I
don't
make
try to please everybody. I
I
just
make the art that I want to make. I write the stuff I want to write. We make the films we want to film. She makes the art she wants to make. The people who love your stuff will find your stuff.
well, not always.
Well,
Some
they will with the good use of social media.
to a degree.
So what we're all talking about.
So lastly, there is Discord. It's worth mentioning. Discord was originally a gamer community with predecessors like Vent or TeamSpeak. back in the day. These days, everyone and their brother has a server. So if you're anything like me, you are in a minimum of 10 servers, possibly more. This means plenty of spaces to link your content. Be active in the servers that you post on. No one likes a cut and paste in several servers. Be active in the servers that you post on. And I see people violating that one a lot. I think there's an etiquette when it comes to Discord, and having a designated channel for certain interactions, like self promo, for instance. Yeah.
Which I've never used on your server. I haven't. I guess I could, but again, I'm bad at promoting myself. Even in the
I
space
put us
that
under
says
self promo.
promo.
I put us under self promo.
Well, even all my stuff, I'm like, oh, man. Yeah, they'll find it eventually.
Oh, okay.
But no, I'm not as familiar with Discord, so I don't know about the etiquette of this and that.
Oh, okay. Interact. If you have a server, be active on your server. I actually found an inadvertent street team on Discord, and that carried over to Facebook, and Facebook's it now counts how many times you've been shared. There are different. I hate to go back to Facebook, but it deserves noting. Don't. Oh, son of a bitch.
Live TV.
Ever since the stroke, man, I just can't have like a consistent thought from beginning to end. I think 3 times before I say something, but like I just
happens with me. It happens with me, and I don't even have an excuse.
I'm getting old.
That's the only answer I've got, is that I'm ancient at this point. That's something that Sandy Linder always talks about. If you follow Sandy Linder on YouTube, which you should, she's always like, I have my notes because I'm ancient.
I have notes too, but I do mine in Notion.
Right. So it's like having notes, and it's you were talking about things getting shared and Facebook counting shares.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know
yeah,
that was
we can go into like payout.
No, I'm just saying, like, you were talking about like posts being shared and how Facebook counts how many times your posts are shared. So, that's what you were saying before your memory dropped.
Platforms like YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram offer insights into audience demographics, engagement metrics, post performance, allowing authors to track and measure the impact of their social media efforts. By analyzing these metrics, horror authors can identify what resonates with their audience and adjust their social media strategy accordingly.
Yeah, because in the end, this is all marketing. One way or another, it's all marketing. And it's fun.
It's just social media as a whole is very much so that.
Yeah, so it's really, if your goal is to be present, then just do whatever you want to do, be present. But if your goal is to push a product, either promote your show, promote your book, promote yourself as a live entertainer, then you've got to be engaging in what is engaged with. So whatever is working, do that. If you're posting pictures of flowers to sell your horror book and no one cares, stop posting flowers to promote your horror book. Unless your book's about flowers, then do that.
Sorry.
I mean, there are obvious things that just make sense. Just think it through. It's like if you're using a certain tone or a certain voice and doing impressions, and people love it, hey, maybe do it again. Do it twice and see what happens. Maybe that's what the people are entertained by. I'm entertained by the dumbest things. Do
I have I have to say, the number one thing that I look for in social media is authenticity.
oh god, yeah.
Fans of horror fiction like to be drawn to authenticity, so don't be afraid to let your freak flag fly. Share the love of all things spooky, interact with your followers, and don't shy away from injecting a little personality into your posts.
All personality. Just be you. I mean, who the hell
Um,
else you gonna be?
Also, be consistent. It
Yes.
doesn't have to be weekly, just work out a schedule that people can expect reliably.
Yeah. Like you
Additionally,
don't.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you don't have to be like because I think that's what everyone gets so afraid of that they feel like they have to be glued to this thing all day long to do social media. You don't. There are a million and one social platforms. I don't know if you can see this. That's
Mm-hmm.
my social media folder on my phone.
Ah.
That's 8 apps. Like
Mm-hmm.
I am not sitting here going to be super active on 8 apps. Not doing it. You shouldn't have to feel like you. I mean, we have lives, we have friends, we have spouses, we have families, we have jobs. You can't spend all your time doing that. So just isolate your time to do the things that work. Be yourself, because who the hell else are you going to be? And just be consistent. So if you're there every Monday, be there every Monday. If you do weird horror trivia on Tuesdays or trivia about giraffes, do that on Tuesdays.
Or make it bi weekly or make it monthly.
Right.
You know,
Just
the first week in. So, YouTubers who do this very well are astrologers. Um, th- like that first week of the month, they will they will do their forecast for the following month.
and it's cool. It doesn't really matter how much time is in between. Loyal people who love your stuff will be there.
You
They
just gotta
will.
have a schedule.
It helps. There's a channel on YouTube called Oversimplify. It takes this guy like 6 months to put a new episode out.
Mm-hmm.
But when that new episode drops, we're all there. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting 6 months for it. So I watch the new episode and I know the next one's not coming for like half a year. I'm not mad or salty about it. I just do other things. But I know in about 6 or so months, it's coming back. So it just has to be consistent. And if you do find yourself running a little bit of odd distance between your major things, pop in and just say, hey, hi, how are we doing today? Engage. That's all it has to be. It's something as simple as, what are we doing this Monday? How's Monday going? What do we got plans for this week? What's the weekend looking like? Something as simple as that. And then respond to some of the people. That's it. That takes 20 minutes out of your time. That's it.
If that.
If that.
Additionally, leveraging hashtags and trending topics can help horror authors expand their reach and attract new readers. Whether it's participating in hashtag games like Whip Wednesday or jumping on trending topics like scary stories, strategic hashtag use can boost visibility and engagement.
And if you feel like you're bad at that for whatever reason, social media, the whole thing is to connect with other people. Find other people in your niche, maybe other people on the same level as you are, and work together. Say, hey, let's get together, and this Thursday, let's all put out a this, a that, or the third, and use this collective hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
Working together as partners, I mean, there's so many people that we meet at conventions and through social media and through podcasting and things like that. If I said, hey, on the 1st of May, let's all share this hashtag and post stuff. 1st of May, boom. I don't know what it would be. Um, I can't think of a cool hashtag for the month of May. But If we did, then we'd all post something, and we'd all do like a share a picture with that post, or made book covers or something dumb like that. And just whatever, just work with
Whatever.
people and teamwork, and just have all your friends and just talk about it. It's like, hey, 1st of May, we're sharing this thing. We're all gonna do it. Just engage, like be personable, be social. Hello, Heather.
Oh,
Someone's commented. How you doing?
it's Heather Dewey Pettit. Hello, Heather Dewey Pettit. She is on the board for Necronomicon in Florida,
Ooh.
which is one part horror con and like couple parts like other fandom, and there is an author undercurrent. So if you're a horror author and you haven't done Necronomicon in September, I believe, um, you're missing out.
There you go.
Necronomicon is an excellent show.
I need to get out to more cons. I've been fussed at repeatedly in the last month or two. That I need to make the plans to engage and visit more cons. So you might
We'll
be
do an
seeing.
episode on conventions and stuff like that for horror authors that will help. Um, and I have all kinds of things to say about conventions for the horror author, but that's another episode.
That's another episode.
This wraps up our episode on social media strategies for horror authors. Remember, whether you're hunting Facebook, terrorizing Twitter, or creeping on Instagram, authenticity, consistency, engagement, and analytics are your best friends in the world of social media horror.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more notes on building a platform next week when we talk about the author website. Until then, keep the scares alive, my fellow horror authors. Whee!